A remote island in the middle of the Pacific. Tom, now their chief, sends his people out to fish. At first, it's easy, the fish pile up. But then, something strange, the more people he sends, the fewer fish come back. And the bananas? Gone by the armful. Not one person is slacking off. And yet, the price of a single fish keeps climbing into a mountain. Is this just about the island? Right now, the same thing is happening in your day, in a country's budget. Why? Today, you'll see it, with your own eyes. Why can't we have it all? Pour your time into work, and your life shrinks. Have a country build more weapons, and there's less bread. To get this, how much of that must I give up? The first picture economics ever draws for that trade-off is today's star, the production possibility curve. Inside this one-bowed curve sits the island's little mystery, your day and a nation's budget, all at once. And the secret of the curve comes down to one word from last time: opportunity cost. Today we'll draw the curve from scratch, and by the time this ends, you'll be able to lay it against your own life. I just said opportunity cost. Didn't catch last episode? That's fine. One sentence does it. The real cost of any choice isn't the money that leaves your wallet. It's the best other thing you gave up to make it. Now, up to last time, that was just words. A concept. Today, we get to see that thing you gave up as the slope of a curve. This is where the concept becomes a map. Let's go back to the island from the cold open. You remember Tom, the one who picked coffee and even became a cafe owner. This time, a plane accident drops him onto a remote island. The islanders take the man who fell from the sky for a god, and just like that, he's their chief. The island has 100 people who can work, and it can make exactly two things: bananas and fish. What country makes only two goods? Right, we picked two on purpose so we can draw it in two dimensions. With two goods, the trade-off becomes visible. And here's the root of everything today. There are only 100 pairs of hands. They're finite. Send more people to bananas, and fewer are left to fish. Economists call that finiteness scarcity. Because things are scarce, to get more of one, you must give up some of the other. Tom starts assigning labor. Let's put fish on the horizontal axis, bananas on the vertical. Send all 100 people to bananas. No fish, just a pile of bananas. That's the top of the vertical axis. Point A. Send them all to fish. No bananas. That's the far end of the horizontal axis. Point B. Or split them up, some bananas, some fish, and you land in the middle, at point C. Join up every combination you can make when you use all your resources the best way you can, and you get this curve. Its name says exactly what it is: the production possibility curve. PPC for short. Some textbooks call it the PPF. Same thing. One thing to flag here: the points on the curve, A, B, C, are all good moves. You didn't leave any resources idle. You can't say one beats another. Whether these islanders lean toward bananas or toward fish, that preference is all that decides which point they stand on. This one picture, remarkably, says three things at once. Let's split the positions into three, using the curve as our line. 1. Right on the curve. A, B, C live here. Resources fully used, best methods used. Economics calls this efficient. There's no doing better than this. 2. Outside the curve. Point D here. More bananas and more fish, a dream spot. Can we get there? Not right now. There are only 100 hands. When resources fall short or the technology isn't there yet, outside the curve is just an unreachable target. 3. Inside the curve. Point F here is a strange spot. From here, you could catch more fish with the same bananas, or the reverse. You could have more of both, with no one worse off. And yet, you're stuck here? That means resources are sitting idle, people resting with no work, factories standing still. The unemployment and recessions we hear about on the news, that's this inside the curve. The good news, from here, just put the idle resources back to work and you snap right back to the curve. Now we solve the cold opens mystery. Why is the curve bowed instead of straight, bulging outward like a dome? This is the real heart of today. Look at Tom again. Told to bring back fish, Tom naturally sends his best people first. The 10 aces, former fishermen, swimmers. They haul in 40 fish a day, and since those 10 left, bananas drop from 100 to 90. He needs more fish, so he sends the next 10. But the aces are already gone. This second crew can't match them. 30 fish. The third crew, less still, 20. Bananas fall a steady 90, 80, 70. But the added fish go 40, 30, 20, less and less each time. Why? Because people are good at different things. You use the resources best suited to fishing first, so the harder you push, the more you have to throw in people who aren't suited to it. The gains in fish slow down, and joining these points smoothly gives you exactly this: a curve that bulges outward, concave to the origin. The bow isn't an art choice, it's the fingerprint of one fact: resources are not all alike. Now look at the slope of this curve. What's a slope? How far down you drop for each step you take sideways. On the curve, step one notch to the right, to catch one more fish. How far do the bananas drop? That's how much you have to give up. This, the bananas given up for one more fish, is the slope of the curve, and economics gives it a name: the marginal rate of transformation, MRT. Let's unpack the name. Marginal showed up last episode. It means not the limit, but one more. Transformation means converting labor from making bananas into making fish. So MRT is really how much of the other good you must convert away to make one more. That is, the slope of the curve. Now, today's climax. Go back to the start for a second. To get one more fish, what did we give up? Bananas. But the bananas given up for a fish? Haven't we heard that phrase somewhere? Opportunity cost. Yes, the opportunity cost of a fish is the bananas you gave up to catch it. And what did we just say a moment ago? The bananas given up for one more fish. That's the slope of the curve, the MRT. So these two are the same thing. The opportunity cost of a good equals the slope of the production possibility curve at that point. Last episode's abstract thing you gave up is now right here on screen, a triangle you can touch. This is the one sentence to take with you today. In the original lecture, this is the exact spot where the teacher drew 2 stars. Put the last 2 ideas together, and out comes the answer to the cold opens question. The curve is concave, we said. Concave means that as you move right, the curve keeps getting steeper. The slope grows. But we just learned the slope is opportunity cost. So the farther right you go, the more fish you're already catching, the bigger the opportunity cost of one more fish. That was the cold opens mystery. No one was slacking, yet each fish got pricier. Because at first you gave up only a few bananas, but later you had to give up a pile of bananas for one more fish. The slope had gone steep. This is the law of increasing opportunity cost. Remember increasing marginal cost from last episode? Same face. The harder you push in one direction, the heavier one more inevitably gets. That's why shoving everything to one extreme is so rarely the right answer. Here's a fun question. We kept looking at the opportunity cost of fish. So what about the opportunity cost of bananas? This is where it gets confusing. There's a simple trick. Just rotate the graph 90 degrees, like turning a Tetris block. Now bananas are on the horizontal axis, and you read the slope exactly the same way. Take just this away. As you move toward more fish, the opportunity cost of fish rises and the opportunity cost of bananas falls. Of course, the more common fish become, the scarcer bananas get by comparison. One gets pricier, the other gets cheaper. The symmetry of every trade-off. So far, we've walked along one curve, but the curve itself can move too. You have to keep these two apart. It's the easiest thing to mix up today. 1, moving a point along the curve, sliding from A to B. That's cutting bananas to gain fish. Give up one to get one. The trade-off we've seen all along. No matter how busy you are, you lose as much as you gain. 2, pushing the whole curve outward. More hands, or savings that pile up into capital like boats and nets, or better technology. And the entire curve shifts out. Now, more bananas and more fish. That is economic growth. So here's the frame. Let's work harder usually means moving your spot along the curve. We've grown richer means we pushed the curve outward. Back in the cold open I said, work hard and you'll prosper is half wrong. This is why. However busy you are on the curve, you lose as much as you gain. Truly prospering means pushing the boundary itself. Why do savings, education, and technology matter so much? Because they trade a little of today's consumption to push the curve. Recession, by the way, is the reverse. You didn't lose the curve. You slipped inside it and left resources idle. Now it's time to leave the island, because today was never really about bananas. Your 24 hours are a production possibility curve too. Put work on one axis, life on the other. The more you pile onto one side, the bigger the opportunity cost of that last hour. Your career is the same. Go broad or go deep, and pushing one way means giving up more of the other. A nation's budget is the classic guns or butter, the curve between defense and welfare. And for a person or a country, the real contest goes past which point on the curve you stand on. It's how you push the curve outward, by learning, by saving, by finding a better way. That island, it turns out, was a map of your own choices. So, you're holding a powerful map. But let me be honest about one thing. It's a metaphor that folds the world up for you, not a set of coordinates hanging somewhere real. The person who knows to doubt the curve uses it best. 4 quick ones. 1. The world doesn't have just 2 goods. It has tens of thousands. A 2-dimensional curve is the world pressed flat to give you intuition. Powerful, but not the real map. And honestly, no country actually holds its exact curve. This gives you a sense of direction, not a ruler to measure with. 2. Real life isn't this smooth. Resources move in chunks. You can't rip half a factory loose and move it. The real curve is less a smooth line, more a set of jagged stairs. 3. And this is the big one. Being on the curve doesn't mean it's good. Efficient means resources aren't idle. Not that the outcome is desirable. Belch out smoke to raise output, and output on the curve goes up, but the price the rest of us pay never shows in the picture. Making a lot and living well are not the same. 4. Pushing the curve isn't free either. Growth has its costs, and above all, there's the question of whose curve grows. What you burn to push it. The environment, the next generation, the curve won't tell you that. Knowing this doesn't make the curve useless. It makes you someone who can both draw the curve and see where it wobbles. And that's economics. Let's finish with just one problem. The curve isn't always bowed. Say some country A has a production possibility curve, that's a straight line. Pour everything into rice, you get 500 tons. Pour everything into chips, 1,000 chips. So, what's the opportunity cost of one chip? The slope. 500 tons divided by 1,000 chips. That's half a ton of rice per chip. And because it's a straight line, this opportunity cost is the same everywhere on the curve. It doesn't increase like it did on the island. So this special case exists too. Now say only farming technology leaps ahead. Rice, all in, is now 1,000 tons. Chips stay at 1,000. The curve pushed out on one side only, an asymmetric expansion. Growth doesn't always arrive evenly on both sides. So now, the opportunity cost of one chip? 1,000 tons divided by 1,000 chips. 1 ton of rice. It rose from half a ton to 1 ton. Chips didn't get harder to make. Rice just got so plentiful that the relative amount of rice given up for a chip went up. From one slope of a curve, you can read all of that. So here's today's one line. Opportunity cost is the slope of the curve. Last episode's thing you gave up became a slope you can see, and a bowed curve means the cost of one more keeps climbing, just like that fish in the cold open. Let me leave you with this. You can't have it all isn't a failure. It's the shape of the curve. Everyone has one. So the real question goes past, which point on the curve do I stand on, to, how do I push this curve outward? Here's your assignment. Take how you're spending your time lately and sketch it as a curve on 2 axes. Where on the curve am I standing, and what would it take to push it? Next time, we move to how people express their preferences on this curve as prices and quantities, the story of markets. See you then. If this helped, subscribe and build this series with us. See you in the next lesson.